Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Paul, I'm with the Dicey Review, and today we are going to be doing a full solo playthrough, or we already have rather, of the game Bot Factory, which is the newest game from Eagle Gryphon Games and shares some similarities with Kanban or Kanban EV if you're familiar with those games. It's a lot of fun. We're going to be playing against the solo AI Villela and also playing with the AI-ish character Sandra. So we'll get down to the table, see how it plays, and hopefully this video will be entertaining for you. Hey everybody, how's it going? So now we are down here at the table and I'm going to attempt to run you through a solo game of Bot Factory, which is kind of based on Kanban. From what I can tell, it has some similarities, but essentially what we're doing is we are trying to build toys in this toy factory, and the end of the game is going to be triggered when either one player has completely emptied one toy bot of a color. So like if all the green bots are gone, or if any player has built 5 bots that will trigger the end of the game. We are going to be playing with playing against or with two kind of AI characters. We have our solo character here included in the game, this little AI person right there. And then we also have Sandra, who will be going around the factory, making sure that things are done well and kind of churning through some tiles and things like that. We've gone ahead and done setup, and the way that this game works is pretty straightforward. What we will do is every round we will decide where we want to go. We will place our worker on a place on one of these 4 boards and do a thing, and then Sandra and our solo AI person will activate as well. I think the solo AI person's name is, let's see here, Villela. This person is Villela. So anyway, we've done the setup. We also have a goal in the solo game. So to be able to win the solo game, I have to have completed 2 robots, 1 of each color. So I need 4 total robots of 2 different colors. My starting project tile right here was a green robot that I'm trying to build. And so I've taken a green part as part of my setup. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and try and start to work on a robot, or maybe I should get parts. So to be able to complete a robot, you need 3 parts. You need a leg, a torso, and a head. And you need to be able to go and place those parts on the applicable robot 1, 2, 3 to complete that robot. But to be able to complete a robot, you also have to have a plan to build that robot. So I have a plan that would allow me to build a green robot. So I guess what I could do is make my first action to coming over here to get some more parts to hopefully complete my robot. The only downside to that is I do know that next turn, Sandra moves around the board in a predictable pattern. So she starts right here. She will next turn go right here. And if you go to a location where Sandra is, you have to pay a speech token to be able to take an action where Sandra is. So I don't know that that's going to work out well for me if I decide to go there. I will still take this action because I can cheat my way into getting some speech tokens to allow this to happen. So here's what we'll do. After everyone has placed their workers, you then activate workers from left to right. So when you activate a worker, you lay that worker down and do the action at the board where the worker is. I have chosen to go on the part production board. If I were to go over here, I would gain 1 speech token and get 1 to 3 actions. If I go here, I get 1 to 4 actions. If I go here, I get 1 to 6 actions. On this board, actions consist of either pulling parts off the wheel onto one of these arrows, or rotating the wheel. But as is typical of Vital Lacerda games, there are kind of executive, additional administrative actions you can do. So if you can see right here on this wheel, if you take certain parts off of spaces on the board, it will give you a little bonus action that you can do in addition to your main action. And you can also take an executive action at any time on your turn while you're at this board. So I could be taking parts and then chunk some parts to get another part and then take more parts. You can kind of mix and match your actions in that way. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 6 total actions. So one action consists of taking a part off of the board. That's one action. And you can track your actions by using this little cube. I've taken one. Another action could be to take this part off of the board. Now, I know I need to build 2 robots of 2 different colors. Blue is fine. I might be able to go for blue, or I could go for any other robot color. Before I'm able to build a separate robot or complete a separate robot, though, I need to have the project plan for that robot. So before I can finish another robot, I need to visit this board and get some more plans, and I can maybe think about what other color I might want to go towards once I take this action. But for now, since I have taken this part from this spot on the board, that's my second action here, this gives me the ability to spend a speech token to place a part on a robot. So this is outside of this normal board's action. It's kind of a bonus action. But anytime you place a part on a robot, there needs to be space open for that robot. So for instance, I could go right here because this robot is missing a head. It needs a head. Every time you place a part on a robot, you get a reward. The first part gives you 2 speech tokens, the second part gives you 2 speech tokens, and the third part gives you a completed robot. So since I have placed my first part on this top robot, I get 2 speech tokens. The other nifty thing about this placing parts on a robot is if you cover a space that shows this bonus, you can also take that bonus too. So I've taken this bonus to place a part. By placing a part, I've unlocked a bonus. This bonus allows me to spend a speech token, which I just gained from placing the part, to take a part off of the top of any part tile. So for instance, I could say, I want to build green robots. That's the part I'm missing. I can take that. That was all a bonus. I still have 4 actions left. So what I might want to do is continue to maybe gather some of the parts I might need to build a robot. Before I can do that, though, I need to rotate the wheel. So one of the other ways that you can use an action point on this board is by rotating the wheel a full rotation. A full rotation is going to the next yellow line, so that would be 1 rotation. That has now caused me to take 3 actions. So I now have access to some other robot parts. And I see, so over here, the robots that I have access to build, I have access to yellow robots, blue robots, and green robots. This bottom row is going to get cleared out as part of administration at the end of the round. So I may want to go for blue, because my next turn I want to go over here to put parts, so it might be 2 turns before I come back here to get a project plan, and this one may be available. Then again, new project plans will show up. But so you know what, I'm just going to maybe collect some of the parts that I need to be able to complete a robot. So I'm going to make, you know what, I'm going to go for green and blue. You know what, green and yellow. I'll go for green and yellow. So 4th action, I'll take this robot part. 5th action, I'll rotate 1 more time. Now, anytime you rotate this top part to where it's facing the feeder, you get to feed in the missing parts from any pile that you want. So since I'm going blue and green, I will go ahead and feed in with blue and green parts. And then 6th action, I will take, sure, I'll take another green part to maybe start working on one of my other green robots. Now, I have 5 parts. That is the most of anything that's the limit of parts you can have. You can have up to 5 plans and 5 parts, or else you have to start discarding stuff. So that's my full action. Everything has been done. I've taken 6 actions on this board, pulling parts, rotating, and taking my bonuses. I could, if I wanted to, take an executive action to chunk 3 parts to gain the top part of any stack, of any pile, which may be beneficial to me if I wanted to complete a blue robot on my next turn, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that because I don't have a plan for a blue robot yet. So that's my turn. In the first round, Villela and Sandra lay down. That's all they do. That's the round. So at the end of the round, you will have some administration, some maintenance. If you have filled up any robot, you will clear that robot of its parts. You'll then discard the bottom 2 tiles on this stack and everything shifts down, gets refilled, and then it's the next turn. So we have some blue and some red available to us. So blue and red may be the way that we want to go in the future. And now we're back into the next round, starting with the movement phase. So what you do is in left to right turn order, people move. So I'm the first one that gets to move. I have to move to a different board. So I know that Sandra is coming to this board, and I know that it's going to cost me, anytime you take an action where Sandra is, you have to pay a speech token. In addition, if I wanted to take the farthest right action that would allow me to place up to 3 robot parts so I could complete my green robot, I would need to pay a speech token as well. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do that yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first come to this board location to get some more project plans to allow me to complete more robots. So that's my movement. The next movement will be for Villela here. Now, whenever this person is moving, you turn over the top tile from the action deck. So Villela is going to board number 1, and he is going to interact with blue robots. This is actually pretty bad for us. We may have to change plans here on which robot we try to complete. So when Villela comes over here, they go to the farthest left space and stand up ready to take their action, and then Sandra stands up and moves to the next board in the leftmost space. So both Villela and Sandra are going to take their actions first. So the way Villella's actions work is if he's at the robot production board, he will look at the color of robot that his tile is, and if there's 2 robot parts, he will take those 2 parts and discard them. If there aren't 2 robot parts, he will take one of the robots and remove it from the game. This is bad because I was hoping to build blue robots, so I may have to pivot a bit and focus on a robot of a different color, focus on different color robots. So that's been done. Sandra, whenever she's at this board, she will simply replace the 2 parts that are on the spare part tile over here. So these parts get discarded, and then they are refilled using this little marker right here. Whatever the marker is above, that will refill, and then the marker will move to the next space, and that will refill. So our new spare parts are a blue torso and a green head. So let's see here. Now that those actions have been completed, it's now my action. On this board, I can take 1 or 2 project plans. So what I'm going to do, I need another green project plan, and I think honestly I may go for yellow, which is great because if you take the 2 bottom plans, you get bonuses for that. So I'm going to lay my person down, take the first project plan. That gives me a second green robot that I can work on completing. And since I've taken from this location, I can spend a speech token to put a part on a robot. So I'm going to spend that speech token. And I think I am going to place a part on the green robot. I'm going to place a torso. This is the first part on this robot, so it gives me 2 speech tokens, and I've placed on a spot where I can gain a free part from the supply. So I am going to do that. I'm going to spend one of my speech tokens and gain a yellow head from the top of the supply, since I may focus on building yellow robots here. So that was my first project plan pull. My second project plan pull, I'm going to pull a yellow plan to hopefully build more yellow robots, and when I do that, there's a plus symbol for the speech token, so I gain a yellow speech token. So now that we've resolved from left to right, our turns are done and we're going to go into maintenance. So there's no robots that have been fully completed. these two project plans are already gone, so these will simply shift down. And I will go over here and do that. Now, there's also a board over here where the value of the robots for in-game scoring is adjusted, and you have some contracts that you can fulfill for in-game points. I don't know that I want to come there yet because I know that no one's going to be at this location. So I think I may want to come over here and try and complete a robot. Either way, first off, Villela is going to move. So Villela will go to board number 3, and Villela will be acting with green robots. Now, this is okay because he's going to remove any green robot project tiles, but I've already gotten the 2 that I need to potentially meet my goal of having 2 robots, 1 of each color. Sandra is then going to stand up and move to the next leftmost space over here. And then it's now my turn to move, and I think I'm going to move over here to the space where I can put 1 to 3 robot parts, and this will really help out. So now we're ready to activate. I'm going to lay down. I can place up to 3 robot parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place 1 robot part right here. That is the second robot part placed, so that'll give me 2 speech tokens. Then I'm going to place the third robot part, which fully completes 1 robot, which means that I can take a robot as a reward, and I have a space to hold a robot because I have a project plan, so that's good. If I didn't have a project plan, let's say for instance that I put 2 blue robot parts there, I would actually not be able to complete that robot. You have to have one of these project plans to be able to complete and put a third part on a robot. So to be able to build my yellow robot, complete my yellow robot rather, I need to have a project plan. So those are 2 actions that I've taken, and I think as a third action, I'm going to place a yellow bottom part right there, which will give me 2 more speech tokens. Now, I have a max of 9 speech tokens that I can interact with and use throughout the game, so I'm currently doing really well on speech tokens, but that's great because they allow me to do all kinds of bonus things. If I wanted to, I could take the executive action, spending a speech token to trade out one of my parts with one of the parts on the spare part pallets, but I don't want to. So my action is done here. Sandra will then do her action on the second board. Her second board action is she will fill in any of the empty spaces, starting with the top left space, working her way clockwise. So she will place a green torso right here, move this over and place a red head right there. Sandra's action is done. Villela will lay down, and Villela will remove any project plans that match the color of his robot tile. So for instance, his robot tile is green, meaning that he will get rid of this green project plan. Nothing will happen other than that just for now. So now it is maintenance phase. We do have 1 complete robot. So what happens when you have a complete robot is you get rid of all of the robot parts that you've placed, and then the value of the applicable robot goes down by 1. This board means that green robots currently are worth 5 points each at the end of the game. I can bump this value up coming here later, spending speech tokens, which I will probably do on my next turn because I don't fully have what I need, I don't think, to... I could come get parts as well, but I think my best bet is to go here and reserve some stuff on my next turn, seeing as how I have so many speech tokens. Anyway, now that that's been done, we will then remove the other tile on the bottom, shift these things down, and then these will come back up over here. So let's see. Where do we want to move? I get to move first because I'm left on the left spot over here. So what I'll do is I'll go over here and I will take the very last action as far as timing order is concerned, spending 1 to 4 speech tokens on this board. Sandra will come, she will move to this spot. Villela will move to, all right, board number 4, and Villela will, oh, good grief. Villela will activate before me, impacting yellow robots, which is not the best. So, first thing that happens, Sandra takes essentially the maintenance action. She gets rid of the 2 bottom plans, moves everything down, and then these get replaced. Villela, I need to get 1 more yellow project plan, so I might have to come back here and take that action to get those project plans. Villela will do a couple of things. Villela will first reduce the value of whatever robot tile he has overturned. So yellow will bump down by 1. Yellow is currently worth 1 less. In addition, Villela will turn over one of these tiles and remove contracts from the grid. I have to pick 2 of these 3 contracts and remove them from the game, which this is bad for me, but I think I know which 2 I want to do. I want to remove these 2, and the reasoning for that is if I think I'm going to go after yellow robots, this 2 yellow robot for 7 points is a pretty great contract to take, and I may want to reserve that one. And in addition, there's also a contract that would give me points for green robots, which I think I also want to take advantage of. So here's what I'll do. Now Villela has done their thing. What you can do whenever you come to this board is you can spend 1 to 4 speech tokens. So I can spend up to 4 speech tokens doing things that will help me. What you can do is you can either reserve a contract, paying 1, 2, or 3 speech tokens, depending on which level of the board the contract is on, or you can spend 1 speech token to bump up the value of any color by 1. So for instance, I could pay 4 speech tokens and go, you know what, greens are now worth 1, 2, 3, 4. They're worth 12 points at the end of the game. And I've also passed two bonuses, which would give me the ability to get a couple of bonuses. What I think I want to do is reserve a couple of contracts because these are pretty big in-game points. So to reserve a contract, you have to spend a speech token equal to the contract's cost. So I want to reserve this one. This can potentially be worth 7 points at the end of the game. All I have to do to meet this is build 2 yellow robots. The nice thing about reserving the contracts is Villela can't get rid of them now. And then I think I also want to reserve this contract to get 2 victory points for building 1 green robot, which I've already met that contract, and it costs 2 to be able to build that. So I reserve that. So that's done. I now have one contract remaining, or a speech bubble remaining. And I think what I want to do is I want to bump up the value of maybe red. My thought process on that: there is a green and red contract still available. I need to build 2 green robots. So I can potentially have enough robots to meet all of these contracts if I want to claim them. And bumping red's value up by 1 would allow me to take 1 free project tile. And I believe the project tile that you get to take is it from the top of the stack? From the project board. I can take a free project tile from the project board, which would allow me to get the yellow project that I need to be able to build my second yellow robot. And in addition, I would gain another speech bubble because I've taken this bottom right project. That worked out pretty well. Now my action is done. And now we'll go into maintenance. No robot has been completed. This project tile will be removed and pulled down. And now these will come out, and it will be Sandra's turn to move first. She will move right here. It will then be Villella's turn to move. Villela will move to board number 2. And we'll be interacting with red parts. So Villela will come here, take that part, unfortunately. And I think I also wanted to come to the part board, which is a bit of a bummer because Villela is going to act first and remove a bunch of red parts. But to be honest, what I want to take, I want to take green. I want to take green and yellow parts, I think. So I think I'm okay. I'm going to come here and go 1 to 6. Villela is going to act first. Villela will remove all red parts from this wheel, which is bad news bears, but what are you going to do? Then it's my turn. I think for 1, I already have the green torso I need. So I think for 1, I'm going to rotate the wheel. 1. For 2, I'm going to get a yellow torso that I need. And now that's created 2 empty spots, and I think I want to go ahead and fill in with yellow first. And you know what? Yellow again. For 3, I want to rotate again. I could take this green, this is going to be fantastic because this will allow me to place a part out, which I could potentially protect. Well, let's see. Here's what I'll do. So green, I've taken this, so I'll spend a speech token to place a part onto a robot over there. So I will go ahead and place the second part on the yellow robot, which will give me the opportunity to spend another speech token to gain the top part of a stack. So I'll gain the second yellow conveyor thing I would need, bottom part I would need. Was that 3 or 4? So I think for 4, I will rotate again, filling in these spots with green, I guess. No, actually green, I'm 1 away from having everything that I need on green. So maybe fill in with red and yellow. I don't need, I do need a second yellow, so maybe yellow again. Was that 5? Yeah, I think maybe as my 6th action, I think this is, I'm taking this. Okay, kind of hard to keep track of actions, especially if you do a lot. Anyway, my turn is done. Now it will be Sandra's turn. So Sandra will take, this is a neat thing that Sandra does. Sandra takes the lowest valued robot and bumps them up by 1. If there's a tie, she bumps both of those robots up by 1. If all of them are at the same thing, she does nothing. But since there were a couple that needed to be bumped, she bumped them back up. So Sandra's making sure that things are working as intended and robots are valuable. Now it will be maintenance. No robot has been completed. These bottom 2 will switch over and drop down. And then these will go right here. So now Valella will move first. We're going to reshuffle these and see where Valella goes. Valella will go to board number 4, potentially ruining everything. We'll see. And Valella will be interacting with robots, the value of yellow robots again. Valella really has a thing for yellow robots. The bad news is that Valella may also remove some contracts that I want, which is definitely bad news. I think I'm going to go over here. Oh no, Sandra's going to come to my board. Sandra is going to come to my board, and I'm going to need... bummer. Okay, I'm going to come over here and only place up to 2 parts because I know that Sandra is coming, and I don't have the second speech bubble I need to take the 3 action and pay Sandra. So now Sandra will stand up and move over here. Sandra acts first. She is going to remove those, which is actually really bad news because I was hoping to snag that green spare part. So this will come over here first, and then a yellow head will come over. And now blue will be the next one to interact. And now I get to place up to 2 parts. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place my first yellow part. Now, since I've placed the 3rd yellow part there, I will complete a yellow robot, and I'm only 1 away from completing what I need to on both green and yellow to actually win, quote, beat the win condition for the solo game. So as my second part placement, I think I'm going to go and place, I think I'm going to go and snag the, I'm going to go here with my green robot. I have placed my first part, which gives me 2 speech tokens, and I've covered the bonus that lets me snag a part. So I'm going to spend this to just snag the top part off of a red robot. Don't really care because I also want to take an executive action to spend a speech token and change out this red part for this yellow spare part. So now I have what I need to complete another yellow robot. So that's my turn there. Now it will be Valella's turn. So Valella is going to lower the value of the yellow robots once again, and then Valella is going to turn over this contract grid tile, removing the bottom left, bottom, top left, and top middle contract. So I have to pick 2 out of these 3. So these 2 are removed. Not great, but the third contract top right that I think I might be able to complete is still available to go get if I want to. So not too bad. Now it's movement again. Sandra will come here. I get to move, and I think I have to move to a different board. Honestly, I would like to just put out more parts and get more stuff completed here. Oh, first off, we gotta maintain. We gotta do our maintenance here. These 3 go away. These bottom 2 go away, and I may have already done that. Sorry, I'm trying to keep track of everything and think strategically, which is very difficult to do. Okay, so I think instead of, I can't in a 2-player game. So we are replicating a 2-player game. You cannot move to the same board as Sandra. Sandra can move to your board after you've moved, but you cannot move to Sandra's board. You can't do the reverse. So I need to either come here to get a project plan, or I need to come here to interact with some things. But the thing here is that I don't really have anything that I want to do here. So I think I really need to come here and maybe get a project plan. The only problem is, yeah, you know what I'll do? I'll come here and do 2 project plans. And then Villela will go to board number 1. And who is gonna get wrecked? Blue, okay. So this is bad because Villela is going to come over here and remove another blue robot. And the thing is, Villela can trigger the end of the game. The end of the game will be triggered if one player gets all robots of one color built, or all of the robots of one color. If Villela clears out any robots fully, the game ends. If any player gets all of the robots of one color built, or 5 robots total, they would trigger the end of the game as well. But Villela is going to get pretty close to triggering the end game, and I still have a lot of work to do. So Villela is going to activate first. If there were 2 blue robot parts, he would remove those 2. Since there's not 2, he's removing a blue robot. Sandra's coming here. She's going to refill all of the empty spaces, starting with the space that has that, and then starting with the space that has that, and then moving over there. And now it's my turn. I can take 2 project plans. I think the other color robot that I may want to try for, if I have time, is red. So I'll take a red project plan. The other thing I think I want to do is take this project plan simply to be able to place a part out for free. So I'm going to take this project plan. That gives me the ability to spend a part, or a speech bubble rather, to put a part out on the board. So I am going to place a part out on the green. I still need to get a green head token, a head part. Actually, you know what? I'm going to place the yellow one. Well, no, I'm going to protect green here. I'm going to place the green out. So this way, if Villela comes and tries to target green on their next production board turn, they'll simply remove parts instead of taking one of the robots. Placing that second part gets me 2 speech bubbles, and my turn is over. Now it is maintenance phase. 3 robots haven't been completed. These will get pushed down and replaced. And let's see what we've got here. Oh no. Okay. Now we are in movement phase. So Villela will move to board number 2, interacting with robot color red. So we're going to remove more red robot parts. Sandra will move to the next board over here, and then I can move wherever I want to. I think I am going to also come to this space, maybe? Okay, so Villela acts first, gets rid of all the red parts. There was only one red tile, which is surprising. I get up to 6 actions now. So what do I need? I need red parts, I need green parts, but I only specifically need, well, you know what? This space empties and gravity should refill here, so I'm going to do that. I think what I want to do is I want to cheat out some parts if I can. So 1, rotate. 2, take this part, which will then give me the ability to spend a token to put out a part. Okay. Put out a torso for yellow, which gives me 2 speech tokens because that's my first part placed on that robot. Spend one of those speech tokens to take the top part off of a tile. I gained a red or a green head, which is what's needed to complete that robot. Now, I will use my third action to rotate again. Fourth action to rotate again. Filling in what's missing with red. Fifth action to take this part just for giggles, which will give me the ability to spend a speech token to cheat out another part here. So I'm going to place the third needed part on the green robot, which will give me my second needed green robot, which is fantastic. And then for one final action, what could I do? I could take one more part, which would give me the ability, okay, because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my third part as a final action here. Now, I've already completed 2 green robots. I have what I need to complete the second needed yellow robot. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take the executive action on this board, spending 3 parts of any color to take the top part for a robot, which red may be able to be completed by me if I can get the parts that I need, which honestly I have almost all the parts that I need over here on the spare tile if I can get one of the head pieces over there. So those are all of my actions. Now it's Sandra's turn. She will simply take these 2 tiles. I need to shuffle these. Let's see what happens here. And replace with this reshuffled stack. Okay. Okie dokie. So now we're in the maintenance phase. So this robot's parts will go away. These 2 tiles will go away. These will shift down and these will refill. Oh, my bad. I needed to reduce the value of green. Sorry, I forgot to do that. And then it's movement phase. So Valella will go first, going to board number 3. It's going to go and remove some project plans, interacting with green robot projects. Sorry, my green screen is kind of flipping out over there. So he'll go here, Valella will go there. I will now go, I think, right here because I have what I need to complete some robots and maybe start on the red. And then Sandra will simply go here and bump the value of some robots, which is fantastic. All right, so starting off, I'm going to use 1 to 3 part placements, which all 3 for sure. All right, so 1, doing that, placing the second part is going to give me 2 speech tokens, which this is great because then on my next turn I can come over here to the speech token place and spend a whole bunch of them to hopefully claim another contract. Second placement here is going to be to complete a yellow robot, which gets me what I need. So now I've officially met the goal to win a solo scenario. Now how much I can score will determine how well I do. And then third part placement, I'm going to go here, which will give me 2 more speech tokens because I have completed first part of a red robot. So essentially what I need to do is as quickly as possible, go and claim another contract, maybe bump the value of red one more, or green or blue, or green or yellow rather, and then claim this contract and build red as quickly as possible. So maybe in 3 turns, the game will be over. First, what's going to happen though is all of the green projects will be removed by Villela. Sandra will bump the 2 lowest valued back up 1. And then it's movement phase after maintenance. This one goes here. Yellow is now bumped down by 1. There's more yellow in the world, so supply and demand, less valuable. This goes away. Bloop. All right. Now it's movement phase. I think I want to, as quickly as possible, go here. Now Villela will go, let's see, give it a couple of shuffles, randomize. Villella's going to go, he drew the same tile. If that happens, you simply draw another one. You have to move boards on your turn, including Villela. So Villela will go, oh crud, man. Villela will go here and act right before me, potentially removing the contract I want to claim, and if they do that, then I'll have to pivot and maybe just bump values a bunch. Sandra will go here. All right, so Sandra will act first, replacing these 2 parts, which is unfortunate because I need red parts, but what are you going to do? Now Villela will go and remove or lower the value of, sorry, I didn't shuffle the robots to see which robot they will reduce. Red, dadgummit, okay. Red gets reduced by 1, and then we will see, ooh, okay, I lucked out. Bottom 2, or bottom 2 right and middle, so these 2 have to go away, which is actually amazing that the only one that I still actually kind of wanted was left. Villela has done their thing. I will now get to spend up to 4 speech tokens. So I will spend 3 speech tokens to claim this contract. I'm hoping that I can complete that. And then I will spend 1 speech token to bump up the value of, instead of red, I'm going to bump up the value of green by 1. I could, if I wanted to, take a project plan as a bonus, but honestly, if you have unfulfilled project plans at the end of the game, they're negative points. So I don't think I want to do that, actually. I want to not take that bonus. Okay, so now I think I have a plan. All right. Sandra moves here. Oh, darn it. I can't do what I was going to do because Sandra's at my board. Oh, what to do. Okay. Yes, I'll do this. Villela will go to board number 2, hang out with Sandra, and remove all the parts of robot yellow, which I don't care about. All right, sweet. Sandra will act first. She will refill all of these parts, starting with this one, with the yellow, and then this blue one. Oh, Sandra, you're doing such a great job. And Villela comes in and wrecks it and removes all the yellow. There we go. I get to take 2 project tiles. This might actually work out up to 2. I'll come here instead. I only want to take 1. This might actually work out okay. So I'm going to take this one. Taking from here gives me a speech token. And then I will take the executive action of this place, spending 2 project tiles, putting them back on the discard pile, to take a universal part. And what I want to do is I want to take the universal head part. These universal parts can be placed on any robot color. They're very useful, and they will allow me to do what I want to do. Okay, so now that I've done that, my turn is over. We're then in maintenance phase. No robots have been fully completed. These 2 will go away. These 2 will bump down. These 2 will come up, and we'll have movement. So Sandra will go to my board. Villela will go to board number 1, dadgummit. Well, can't, it's okay. It's okay. I will also go to board 1 and spend up to 3 I only need to place 2. So honestly, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place 2 because I can do what I need to do. Okay, cool. So first things first, Villela will affect green robots. So Villela will come over here and trigger the end of the game, but I am also going to trigger the end of the game. So Villela goes there. All of the robots of one color have been emptied. Now it's my turn to place up to 2 parts. I'm going to first place my universal part right here, which will give me 2 speech bubbles. And since I've placed a part on this top space of the board, I can also gain the top part of any tile or the top part of any stack by paying a token. For my second placement, I will also place this one right here. As the third placement right there, that rewards me with a completed robot. Sandra will come down here and clear off these 2, push these down, and then we will go into maintenance before finalizing, counting up our final points. These 3 parts go away. Anytime a universal part is cleared, it goes back to the supply, but unfortunately red's value will be reduced by 1. Now we are in in-game scoring. The way in-game scoring works is you will first, I believe, count the value of your robots. So for me, for instance, each of my completed robots will give me victory points. So each green robot is worth 8 points, so I've got 16 there. Each yellow robot is worth 5, and each red robot is worth 5 as well. Each red is worth 5 as well, rather. So I've got 16, 26, 31 points from robots. Then I believe what you do is you see if you have completed your contracts. And this is not to complete a contract, you have to assign robots showing that you have done what the contract is asking. So for instance, this contract is asking for a green and a red robot. I've done that, and since I was the first to claim this tile, because up to 2 people can claim a contract tile in the multiplayer game, since I was the first to place that tile, I get the leftmost point value. So 31 plus 5, I'm 36. Now I have completed this contract for 2 points, 38, and I've also completed this contract for 7 points, so 45. Now, in addition to whatever is over on the contract itself, you also get the points over on the right side of the row where the contract is as well. So 45 plus 7 for one of these contracts, 52, 57, 5 for this contract, and then 59 for these 2. Now, the last few bits that you score, for each pair of speech tokens, you will gain a victory point, so I'm up to 60. For each contract tile that you reserved but weren't able to complete, you lose the victory points shown instead of gain them. You only lose what's on the contract itself, though. You don't lose the points over on the row. And then let's see here, for each part tile you have left over, you lose a point. I don't have any of those. And then for each incomplete project you have, lose 2 points. I got exactly 60 points. So since I was able to complete the goal of this solo game, 2 robots of one color each, I'm able to then count up and see how I did using this little grid right here. And apparently my performance was exemplary. I don't know that you can see that or not. Expect an invitation to become a partner. So I will be a partner in this toy building venture bot factory before long. That's how you play the solo mode, at least. When you're playing multiplayer, you use Sandra in addition to all of the players. Whenever you're playing solo, you can play with this Villela bot, however, and it's pretty fun. It's a challenge. It's not nearly as complicated as Kanban EV, which it shares some similarities with, but honestly, that's not a bad thing. You know, sometimes you want a really heavy, crunchy game, and sometimes you want something that still has some meat on the bones like this one does, but isn't quite a table hog and can play in an hour or so. So this one's a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed this playthrough. I think I will try to do a full official how to play video of this one pretty soon, because I'm a big fan of it. I was a backer. I love the theme. It's very colorful. It's simple and straightforward. So I had a lot of fun with it. Hopefully you enjoyed the playthrough. If you have any other games that you would like to see me play through solo, I would be happy to do that. I've been testing out my streaming setup, recording setup a bit, hopefully being able to do more of these in the future. All right, everybody, that was our video. Hopefully it was helpful and hopefully it was entertaining. If you have any questions about how to play the game, you can comment below. I am going to try and do a full how to play video of this game for the multiplayer, but this should hopefully give you a pretty good idea of how the solo game plays, as well as most of how the actual game plays with just a couple of changes. If you have any questions, like I said, comment below. You can always connect with us on social media or visit our Board Game Geek Guild. But thanks so much for watching, everybody. Until next time, I'll see you at the table.